Their names are Karen and Tony Barone, and they are here to talk about a new exhibit and a new book that they've got out, and we have all kinds of things that we're going to be speaking about. But I want to give you a little background before I introduce them. Karen and Tony were both born in Chicago. They got their stripes in New York City, Soho. They moved west to a horse farm in East Tennessee, then back to Los Angeles, where they were a powerhouse artistic presence. They had a wonderful, massive canal-side studio in the artist community of Venice Beach. Well, these people are so multi-talented. Tony is known for the wonderful restaurants and discos that he has designed. He was involved with Barone stores and shops in Bloomingdale's and Macy's across the country, across the world, and there's just all kinds of things. They're mostly known now, especially here in the Valley, as sculptors for their life-size, figurative, and jumbo larger-than-life outdoor shiny colors, show car paints, and exotic patina. I love that. They make everyday things like kitchen utensils, a perfectly proportioned 6.5-foot tall meat cleaver titled Dad Was a Butcher. East meets west in the battle of the noodle with a 7-foot fork interlocked in battle with a pair of noodles. Well, this goes on and on and on. Meatballs and pop sculptures. But what we're going to be talking about is their new exhibit and featuring drawings from their wonderful, wonderful book called Love Monsters Aren't Scary, They Are Just Misunderstood. Well, Tony and Karen, I am so happy to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Well, you are such a great couple, and not only talented, but a wonderful couple, and you are here to talk to my listeners about your new art exhibit at the Des Art Gallery. Now, the Des Art Gallery is located in the Backstreet Art District at 2688 South Cherokee Way in Palm Springs, and it does feature drawings. I want to emphasize that this is an adult book. Love Monsters Aren't Scary, They Are Just Misunderstood. And let's get started now. Who's going to talk about what inspired you to create these characters? I guess we'll start with
since
Tony.
Karen was the inspiration,
yes,
I'll start. We were traveling constantly all over the world for art fairs and art projects and special projects. And on these long flights, I would keep myself busy drawing, but not just drawing for my own pleasure, but drawing things that I would then surprise Karen with, kind of like little love postcards. And I started working on this character that we had originally discovered in the ruins of Pompeii on one of our trips. And we've worked with this figure that was in a mosaic floor in one of the ancient villas. And it kind of haunted us, and then we continued working with it, but then we changed the head and made the head into the heart-shaped head. So that's one of the reasons they're called the Love Monsters. And then we started creating it as a character, and it had a persona, but it was an alter ego for us, where it became our message to comment on the world.
Now, the art is done by you, by Tony, and of course inspired, as we said, by Karen, but the writing and the sayings and everything else are written by the two of you, Karen and Tony. And I would like to just interject here. I think what is interesting and fun about it, it follows a family, the Kahn family, and I get such a kick out of that with some of these names, the Xavier Kahn, the Kahn family patriarch, Edie Wright Kahn, the Kahn family matriarch. It goes on and on. Cherry Cordial Kahn, Enough Kahn. Just the names that you've given to these love monsters are absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you very much. The Kahn family actually were found in caves. That's where they were perceived, and what took place was they burrowed themselves under the caves of the rich and famous in Beverly Hills. And they would watch and observe people mostly through television sets. So they became these personas of what they saw. but they get everything incorrect. So they're visual and verbal puns, and when you see them, what they're saying is not what you're seeing, or it is what you're seeing. If, for instance, just like the English language, to be here, we have TWO, TO, TOO, B, BE, HEAR, HERE. They're not sure what you're really
minefield.
saying.
Yes. Well, what I thought was really fun, too, is in the opening drawing. It's a picture of what is described as love monster in L.A., where nothing has value and everything has a price. I love that.
And do you notice the little people at the bottom of it?
Oh, yes.
little
All
people.
the other little people.
Well, the love monsters listen and hear everything literally, and so and like Karen says, they get it wrong. So a good example might be Toulouse-Lautrec, where it's Too loose Loose Lautrec, because he enjoys drinking a lot of wine.
Yeah, I love that. I also love the one. Talk about the birthquake.
the birthquake. They were listening through television and through the walls to humans, and so they started emulating them. So they started having, they started reproducing in what is described as a birthquake, and it became that because they had overheard a couple after having sex saying, did the earth move for you?
Right, so that was a birthquake.
And although they're androgynous, they start taking on what they see, and they understand the family structure.
Well, and I do think I do have to mention, for those people that want to go to this show, a lot of the, would you not say, a lot of the little comments are a bit R-rated. Maybe we don't want little kids around.
Yeah, I'd say most of them are many of them are very R-rated.
I just think of them as being slightly naughty.
Slightly naughty, but it's not a show or a book for children.
But it's not direct language. It's how you perceive it in your mind, because the picture and the words are two different things. Love monster, this is typical. The love monster in the midst of afterglow after having safe sex.
Yeah, well, we have to be a little careful about what we can and cannot say on the air,
Right.
so just be aware of that when you're about to tell us something.
Right, so he's actually he knocked over a safe. The safe, it's on its side, and the safe, on the safe, it says the Oiga Vault and Safe Company, like Oiga Vault. Okay, and he thought knocking, safe sex was making love to an ironclad safe.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how many drawings are in the book, actually?
In the book, there are 70, but in actuality, there are over 200 drawings in existence.
The exhibition shows the originals, 42 of the originals, which are scaled in size. The original drawings are only about 9 by 10 because they were all created on these trips and on the tray holder on a plane or in a cafe. So we've never done any of them in the studio other than the special project ones, which is where we do the e-cards and for holidays and things like that.
Right. So you took all of these things that you did on the plane, then made them into larger drawings. Is it correct to call them drawings? What do you call them?
No, they're multimedia drawings. They're mixed media drawings. But these are the originals. We didn't do them smaller and then enlarge it. These are the size. The size and the ones in the book are the same size as the originals as well.
Well, I think it's important, too, for our listeners to know that when they go to this exhibit, certainly you can see all of this, but you can also purchase them. And you can purchase the book, and we'll talk about that a little later on. You did have a recent opening last week and book signing. What was the reaction from your visitors to the opening? I bet it was fun.
It was definitely fun. There was a lot of laughter going throughout the room.
It was a big turnout.
And people had a tendency to want to take their friends over and say, "This is my favorite one. Which is your favorite one?"
Absolutely. Well, I've been having a hard time picking out my favorite one because I'll tell you, I exploded with laughter at one this morning. I just couldn't stop laughing. So I can understand why they want to do that. Can you discuss the price of the works? Do you want to mention
No, it's
that?
fine. They're specially priced for this exhibition and this current economy, and they are at $400 each for the originals.
And then there's also a Pop Heart Mart shop.
Kind of in the Andy Warhol, Keith Haring tradition.
Oh, I love that.
High art, low art, commercial art.
And there are T-shirts and mugs and
everything with
intimate-
these designs
Yes,
on
with the
it.
designs.
Well,
exactly.
a good example, the mug has a picture of the Love Monster holding what looks like a torpedo or submarine sandwich, and inside the submarine sandwich is a golf club. So, of course, the heading says, Love Monster enjoying a club sandwich. And that was originally designed for the Bob Hope Classic. It was originally commissioned as a tea prize a couple years ago. So
That is fun. It's well. There again, not only do you have the exhibit of the mixed media drawings, but look at all of these other fun things that you've got to look at and buy. And so I'm anxious to get over there and see it. Now, the book has been printed in limited edition. They're numbered. Each has a stamped imprint. How many in the series did you do, and what does the book sell for?
it's only 2,000 in the series.
And the book retails in the month of December for holiday at $35.
At the gallery. However, if that doesn't satisfy, you can go online and pay $50.
You know, while we're talking about going online, why don't you give your website?
Well, there's two websites that represent the Love Monster: lovemonstersplural.com and baroneart.com.
I'm sorry, spell Barone.
B is in beautiful, ARONEART.
Say the site again.
baroneart.com.
And lovemonsters.com.
Yes. Now, I, you know, it's very hard when you're on radio, of course, to talk about something visual, but the Love Monsters drawings are very, very sculptural in style. And have you yet, or will you create the character in one of your larger-than-life sculptures?
That is so funny that you brought that up. Last night we had dinner with some good friends, and she's demanding that we do it. And Karen's been really pushing for one for a while. She wanted to where people, if they came over to our studio, would actually pose with the Love Monster, much like the poster that was done for the exhibition.
Absolutely.
So from your mouth to God's ears.
Yes, it's a must. I mean, you know, these people are so prolific in what they create. It's mind-boggling. I don't think they sleep. I think that's the secret. I don't think they sleep. I think they're out there in the middle of the night while the rest of us are resting, and they're just creating all of these wonderful things for us to take a look at and buy.
We're knocked out by it's time to go to bed. We sleep very well, except in order to keep up with Karen, once or twice a week, I get up at about 2 or 3 in the morning so I can get a little bit of a head start because she is just unbelievable. Her energy level and her productivity is off the Richter scale.
Well, and I want to say too, I know they are well known in the Coachella Valley, and I know you listeners certainly cannot miss them. Karen is walking art. She is absolutely gorgeous, and if you could see her today, she's all in yellow. Everything matches, and she makes a lot of her clothes. Did you make this outfit?
Yes. First of all, I'm very tiny, and secondly, I just can't see anything out there that's quite right for me, so I create them.
But she's always created her look and her own.
Yeah, and she is very, very visual, and but again, they're both as sweet as they are prolific.
Now, nice. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Now, we did talk about the fact that a lot of these are rated, but do you have a couple of favorites of your own personal favorites in there?
I have a couple that it kind of historically mean something to me.
Okay.
Because they came at different times. But one of my favorites is the Love Monster checking out chicks at the supermarket. And of course, we know what that means, but when you look at the drawing, you see the Love Monster at a supermarket cash register and scanning baby chicks across the barcode scanner. Each of the little chicks has a barcode on its belly.
And one of mine is Love Monster in a Confrontation with a Chicken.
I
And
don't
the
know if
one
you can say that
oh,
one.
no, I can.
No, you can't say that one.
But I can.
No, you can't.
Pluck you and cluck you. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well,
All right,
yeah, that's
all
the
right,
way
she
chickies
said it.
talk.
It is.
That's
It is.
okay. She said it.
That won't be
oh, that-
bleeded. No way.
okay.
No way.
Well, how about this one? No.
No. That's a little.
But we
And
also
then the-
love the Kahn family pets.
Oh yes. Can we talk about those?
Yes.
Absolutely. Melancholy. Love
Mel-
Monster's pet, Melancholy. Now,
Melancholy has the body is a watermelon. And he's on, and if you read then the text, you see the text for the book is written like a play.
Yes.
And it is a one-actor play with a professor who discovers these caves that the love monsters are in. And the love monster is a bona fide neurotic. He's on
Prozac.
yeah.
A bulk dog food for neurotic canines.
And then there's the CAT scan, one of the love monster's pet cats. It looks like a radioactive.
Well, we have to mention again about the exhibit. The exhibit does run through December 31st. Again, keep in mind this is not a children's book or a show, but we want you to go. For more information, call the gallery at 760-1440 or the Barone Studio at 310-480-7733. That's 760. I skipped a couple of numbers there. Well, we'll find that. I've got the correct number here. We'll find that. But call the Barone Studio at 310-480-7733. Now, Tony, you wanted to mention something, too, about tonight. You're going to be over there, are you?
We
Saturday
decided
night?
we have a signing there this afternoon. And so after the show, just put on a coat and run right over.
So it's between 2:30 and 4 at the Desert One Gallery.
And we'll be signing. If you can't make that, however, we do have signed copies of the numbered and limited edition and stamped books.
Well, guys, I wish we had more time to talk, but I can't believe it. Our time is already up, and we have to go, but I'm certainly going to have you back again.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a kick. And before I leave you all, I want to give a very special thanks to Johnny Bruce, my right-hand man, who keeps me on air and on time. And thank you, Johnny. This has been the Jacqueline Bachar Show.